Welcome to Traveling with Diamonds. My name is Barry. This is a WIP and chat. WIP stands for Work in Progress. I want to welcome my 64 subscribers. Yay! I love my subscribers. I hope everybody's doing well. It is Friday afternoon. This will post on Saturday. I am working today on Home is Where the Magic Is. This is my winter Randall Spangler house that I'm working on. And let's get my tools situated here. I need some putty. Oops, gosh, making noise. I have a lovely purple Muni-Made tray that I like a lot. My favorite pen, which is just stunning. I don't know where it came from, though. It got it probably 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, when I first started diamond painting, and I don't know where I got it from, but it is just absolutely stunning. It's got the blues and purples in it, and I love it. And I use pink wax in my single placer and my multi-placer. And we have a cute cover minder that's an Amazon package because I thought I'd use that one because it's a house, and of course I don't remember where I got this cover minder. Yeah, I'm sorry if you know who sold Amazon box cover minders a while back. Let me know in the comments if you know where any of this stuff is from. Aside from the Muni-Made tray, we know where that's from. And you might see the corner of some Elizabeth Ward trays. That's what I'm using for. I have a full tray and a half tray full of diamonds, because this is a very big kit. It is 25.6 by 42.1, or 65 centimeters by 107 centimeters. So it's very long. It's not super wide. I've done water kits, but it's very, very long. And so it hangs off my TV tray when I use a TV tray to diamond paint in front of the, let's see what we got here. In front of the TV, I use a TV tray, a big TV tray, to diamond paint in the living room when I'm not diamond painting at my craft table, which is where I film. And it hangs all the way to the floor from the TV tray. On the craft table, the bottom hangs off about 10 inches. But that's how long this thing is. It's very, very long. I figured it's going to be 68 sections because I do 10 by 10 sections. So it's going to be about 10 by 10 centimeter sections. So it's going to be about 68 sections to diamond paint. I've done 2. But my goal is to work on this in January, February, and March. And do the Spangler houses through the seasons. If you watched my plans for 2026 video, I kind of went through that I'm going to do the Spangler houses each season. What is the cat doing? It's making noise. Each season, or quarter, that goes along with the seasons. The Spangler house that goes along with the seasons. So I have this is the winter house, and then I'll do the spring house and the summer house and the fall house. I do not own the trick-or-treat house, or what else is there? There's some other Spangler houses. I don't own those. But anyway, yeah, so this is my big WIP right now. I'm hoping I can get a few rows done in January. Ideally there'd be 10.5 rows or 10 3/4 rows. So I would want to do 3 rows a month would be ideal, because then I'd only have 2 and is that right? I'd only have 2 3/4. No, I'd have 1 3/4 left if I did 3, 9, 1 3/4. Yeah, so the last month I just have 1 3/4 of a row left. So I don't know. We'll see. But about 3 rows a month. About 3 rows a month would get me there. So let's see what we can do. We're already on the 9th of January. So that's crazy. There's a ton of color blocking in this section, so we may get more than this section done today. We may have to go to open up another section. The top of this kit, Randall Spangler kits usually don't have a ton of color blocking in them, but the top of this kit, this is a big kit, and the top of it is the sky. And so we're going to have some sections of color blocking. And I'm not the biggest fan of color blocking, especially light colors. This is luckily dark colors, where they kind of just blend together, so you don't see the gaps. I expect this, I'm trying to see in the sections I've done, is there gapping? There is some gapping. It's not crazy by any means. So I'm not too worried about this kit. This kit is old enough to have this style sticker sheet. It's old enough to be in the old box, but it's young enough to have a fairy dust color. So that's kind of how, but the ABs are the numbers under 150. So, you know, that's kind of how I age kits. This one is probably on the order of 3 years old. I didn't look up when it was released. I should do that just for my curiosity. But my other WIPs for the year, I kitted up the Temperature Project from Diamond Art Studio UK, and I've done 4 days of colors. It's all been the green color. I have there's 4 colors, and my ranges are less than 50, because I live in Huntsville, Alabama. My ranges are, I'm doing the high temperature, and my ranges are like less than 50 is blue, 51 to 70 is green, 71 to 90 is yellow, and 91 and above is orange. So, because I looked at the average temperatures, and that's what made sense for my temperature project. So far in the 9 days of January, it's been the green. It's been between 50 and 70. 50 and 51 and 70. I've had a few days hit 70, but that's fun, that temperature kit. I did the whole January row with the shelf and it's potion bottles. So I did the background and the shelf for January. And then I think on the weekends, on Sundays, I'll just pull out and do that week's worth of colors on the bottles. And that'll be a year-long project. So I have 2 kind of long-term projects I'm working on. And then I still haven't put up Sleeping Cat or the Summer Mystery. The Sleeping Cat is the Make Market Christmas kit. That and Summer Mystery. I have 18 sections left. on both of those. So I haven't like stored them. They're still kind of stored out in the open as if I might work on them. I guess if I need a break from this kit this month, it would be good to pull out one of those. But otherwise I was going to kind of put them away either in the closet or under the beds. And kind of pull them out when I needed another kit to finish, maybe in the summer and the Christmas time again next year. But we'll see. I'll probably keep them out through January. And then we have the Orlora mystery set. There's 6 sections left there. I haven't made any progress on that. I haven't really traveled to take it with me. I had a quick trip early this week on Monday and Tuesday, but I was only in the hotel for one night, and I got in at 6:30. I needed to review some documents for the site visit, and got up the next morning and went and did the site visit. So I didn't have time to diamond paint. When I go on like week-long trips, there's usually a little bit more time built in where I can diamond paint. So I did order another kit. I need to stop. I really need to stop buying diamond paintings for at least a few months. For all kinds of reasons. One reason, my bank account. My bank account is suffering. I don't need to go into more debt. I need to So I really need to do better, but I ordered the Steve Reed mystery kit, the one with the animals pets from one of the mystery boxes, because I saw the image and I thought it was cute. So I ordered it because apparently I couldn't help myself, and we've just got to make a pact here, guys, that I cannot order, I don't know, anything else. Like, what did I say last time? Like, because I broke my rules, like, I think I said if it was Mandalorian or like Wall-E, if Pixar shows up, which would just kill me, I would have to have those kits, especially Wall-E. That's where my cat's name comes from. My cats are Wally and Eva. And Wally always called Eve Eva. So, and Eva's easier to say than Eve, kind of. Yeah, I think if those kind of kits show up, or if, Spangler I just have to have, but here I am buying a Steve Reed mystery. That doesn't fit in those categories. You got to give yourself some leeway, but like, the Steve Reed mystery does not fit in those categories. So, anyway, I ordered that. I haven't had anything come in this week. Is that true? Yeah, I haven't had anything come in this week. I had some Muni-Made trays. I bought some, which I don't need to be buying more of those, but I bought some oopsie trays. They're like trays that don't meet the standard, their quality or whatever. Like, I never find what the issue is with them when I buy the oopsie trays. So I don't know what the issue is with the 2 I got, but I ended up with a pink one and a white one. So that's cool. I didn't have a pink one or a white one, or this shade of pink at least. I have a ton of pink ones actually, but they're different shades of pink. And I don't have a white one. So I was excited to get those today in the mail. And I ordered a Butterfly Effect Wears pin. I was so upset on Saturday because I missed the drop. And it was these beautiful white pearlescent pins. And I just really wanted one, and I wanted one of the regular pins, but all that was left when I remembered to go look was one of the mini pins. So I bought a mini pin, and it is in my mailbox right now. I need to go get it and see if I like it. And I need to organize my Muni Made trays a little bit better. I think I have a container I can fit them all down in and have them be like lined up so you can see them all. I just need to clean out that container of other stuff. It's got various washi tapes and toolkit things from when we used to get washi tape in the Diamond Art Club toolkits. It's got some of that washi tape in it, and it's got, I don't know, it's got some other stuff in it. I need to work on that and get my trays better organized now that I have so many of them. And then I won't need to buy any more Muni Made trays because I have all the colors. I don't think I have all the colors, but I have a lot of the colors. I have most of the colors that have been available in the trays. And I have a combination of like this style tray, which is the I think version 2 tray, and the version 3 tray with the magnetic lid. I have various amounts of both because the Muni Made trays are the ones that I just like so much. I like her small trays. I have some of her big trays too, but I don't gravitate towards the big trays as much. I think it's because I don't do real heavy color blocking kits. I do big confetti kits, so I don't need to have just a ton of drills in my tray. And for the big trays, you'd need that for a lot of drills of one color. So I keep the big trays in case I have 2 of the big trays, and I keep them just in case I want to use them sometime. But otherwise, I use all my tiny mini Muni Made trays. And I don't know how many diamond painting pins I have. Probably on the order of, how many trays I have is probably on the order of 25 or 30. How many pins I have is probably on the order of 20 or 20, yeah, about 20 different pins, I think. Maybe a little less. But yeah, I enjoy, this craft is as much about collecting as it is diamond painting, isn't it? And you want to be able to match your tools to your diamond painting, and this tray and pin match. This tray matches the Y symbol on this, the Y symbol on the canvas, which is 550, and the pin matches the Y symbol and some of the blues like 792 and 333 and 334. So it matches. Oh, and there's 3746 that matches too. So it matches a couple of the colors on this kit. So I like to match all that when I can. And so how my week's been. Hopefully your week has been good, but I last talked to you last Friday and it posted Saturday. And Saturday I went to Florence, Alabama for to get my toenails done. Because there's somebody there who is certified and is able to keep toenails from thickening, because both of my toenails are damaged. My big toes are damaged from all the walking, and I played tennis as a kid and was a runner for a while and things like that, and it just damages your toenails. So both my big toes are damaged, and they like to thicken as they grow. So she's able to trim them down and keep them growing the right way. They grow so slow. All my other nails grow so fast. My big toenails grow so slow, so slow. But I'm grateful that I found her. And Florence, Alabama is about an hour and a half away. So it's not too bad. On the west part of Alabama, of northern Alabama. So did that, and then I mostly diamond painted last weekend. Or like worked on getting these kits kitted up, and yeah, worked on getting all these kits kitted up, and got the washi tape borders on them, and you know, all that. So then Monday I flew to Baltimore to drive to West Virginia for a site visit. And my site visit went fine. It ran long. So I was kind of booking it back to BWI, which is about an hour and a half away from Martinsburg, West Virginia, where I was. And I was booking it back to BWI, and I finally returned the rental car and got a notification that my flight was delayed. So I was like, well, I'll still make the connection. It'll be fine, because I had kind of a long connection in Atlanta. And then I got to the airport, and it was delayed again, even longer. So now it was delayed an hour and a half, and now my connection was in risk. So the problem was that was the last flight to Huntsville, was the 10:35. And that was the last flight to Huntsville for the night. So if I rebooked, it would be on a 9:30 a.m. flight on Wednesday morning. The problem was I had an MRI scheduled at 6:45. I had a training session with my personal trainer scheduled at 5:30. And I had 2 meetings at 8 and 9 the next morning. So I really was gonna have heartburn if I had to miss all that, basically, or reschedule all that, you know. So yeah, I don't know. So I was just hopeful. It was I think it was announced early enough that they were going to be delayed, because it was a crew issue in Atlanta, actually, from the flight coming to Baltimore. And so I messaged with Delta. I talked with Delta. I was like, can you get me on any other flights? I need to get home tonight. And I called the MRI people, and because luckily they're in Central Time, and I had a little bit of time before they closed when I got to the airport. And I called them, and I was like, can I reschedule my MRI for later in the day or for any time? But I'd still like to keep my Friday appointment with my doctor, so I need it read before Friday. And they're like, well, no, I can't do that for you. We can't reschedule right now. You could cancel, and you can call back and reschedule when you get home tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, well, what's the fee if I miss the flight? Because I'm looking at the flights and I'm thinking, okay, if it lands when it's supposed to, I'll have 20 minutes, which is really just 10 minutes, because they close the boarding door like 10 minutes before the departure time. So I'll have 10 minutes to get, but it was like going to be in the same concourse. They were both B gates. It was like 10 minutes to get from B17 to B25. Well, that's doable. So I'm still having this hope that I can make that flight. So I was like, well, what's the fee? But you never know. Things can happen. And I was like, what's the fee? Is there a fee if I miss the appointment? And they're like, yes. And I was like, well, what is the fee if I miss the appointment? And they're like, well, I don't know. Let me see if I can find it out. And I was like, okay. Because this is obviously like an answering, like appointment service, not the doctor. I mean, I think they work for the doctor's facility, but they're not the like assistants to the doctor. So they call over to the doctor and try to get like what the missed, and they couldn't find that out. And I'm like, okay. And I finally decided I was going to just risk it because, I'll get into it, but I've been having this issue for a while. I wanted to get the MRI, like I wanted to get it figured out, and so I was like, well, I told him, I said, there's a chance I won't be there in the morning, but for now, I'll keep that appointment and I'll just pay the fee if I miss it. And so I told him that. I called my sister. She lives in Atlanta. I said, hey, I might be stuck in Atlanta tonight, but I'm going to come in so late. I don't want you to have to come get me for me to stay at your house. I said, but can you tell me which hotels are at the convention center and the rental car place that you can get to from the train and from the little airport train? And she's like, yeah, let me send you, because I was hungry. I needed to get some food. I wasn't there to, I couldn't pull my computer up. I could pull my phone up, but I was having trouble finding it. And I was distressed. And so I had her, so they sent me, her and her husband, sent me the link to the hotels. And they're like, yeah, there's some Hilton brand hotels, and I'm sure they have availability and stuff. And I was like, okay. And so I messaged Delta and I said, will you give me a hotel voucher if I miss my connection? And they're like, as long as it wasn't weather. And I said, no, it's a crew issue. And they said, yeah, we'll give you a hotel voucher. So, so I had all that straightened out, and so I went and sat. So I had some dinner because I now had an hour and a half extra. So I had dinner at a restaurant across from the gate, and I went to sit down and kind of got on my computer and told some people I may miss some meetings tomorrow morning, and did that. And interestingly enough, there was a whole big group of people all going to, in fact, most of the flight was full of, they were kids. They were 18-year-olds probably. They were all going to Fort Benning for basic training. And they were taking up most of the flight. And anyway, and then I was in first class because because I had status for one more month. My status goes away with Delta on January 31st or February 1st. I have no status with Delta on February 1st. I didn't fly enough last year to even get silver. So I think I get silver through the credit card, but we'll see. And then so I was in first class, so I was like, well, I'm going to have a better chance of running because I'll get off the plane first. And basically it was it may have been an undersold flight, I don't know, or enough people may have all done alternate routes to get home that there were 62 open seats on the flight. So the other plane gets in, and they had told us, they said, if we can board in 10 minutes, they'll get you off the ground earlier, and the pilot can make up time in the air, and you might make your connections, all your connections. So, and we did. They boarded that whole big group of kids going to Fort Benning. with the military, so they boarded first. And then there was barely anybody left. Like, they boarded first class and they closed the door. I mean, you know, there's a few people left in the back, but not to board, but not many at all. And so we were able to board in less than 10 minutes. So we left the gate. The plane pulled back from the gate at 8:09. And then they said, oh, it's an hour and a half in the air. And as soon as I got on the plane, Delta messaged me that I was on a flight at 9:30 the next morning. And I'm like, no, I want a chance to make the flight that, you know, is tonight. So I messaged Delta back and I was like, can you confirm me on the plane? And by this point, the flight had moved concourses. And, but it was still just one concourse away. And for a while we were going to land at like B18. And that's right where the tram is. Like, that's right where the escalators are, down to the tram. And, my flight was in like A20. So they confirmed that I was still on that flight at 10:35. So the pilot was able to make up time in the air. So we land at 10 o'clock, like 9:50 something, 10 o'clock. We land at 10 o'clock. The problem was that the taxi from landing to the gate was like, there was a runway down and they didn't have a spot for us to get to the gate. And so that took forever. So I finally get off the plane at 10:15. Meanwhile, I have gotten a message from Delta saying my flight is now leaving at 10:30. So I have no time to get before they close that boarding door. So I run. Like, I have shin splints from Tuesday night. I ran. Luckily, I had checked my bag, and I just had my book bag and my purse and my headphones because I had left them in the seat. And I ran. And I made it in 5 minutes from B11 to A20. And I got there and huffing and puffing, and they said, are you Ashlyn? I said, yes, because that is my legal name. I don't usually say that on here, but I just did. So they said that, and I go by Barry. But I do have a legal name that is different than that. So they said that, and you know, I made it. I made it. Like, I amazingly made it. And I was huffing and puffing. I had a seat in Delta Comfort. You know, I didn't have to put a bag up above because I had my new book bag, which fits under the seat better than my old book bag did. And I made it home. I made it home Tuesday night. I got home around 11 because Central Time, so I gained an hour. So I made it home around 11, and I woke up at 4:45 and went to work out, and I went to my MRI at 6:45 and had a long day, and I had a doctor's appointment and a hair appointment and a dinner, and I was exhausted by 9:30 when I got home. And you know, and that was my crazy Tuesday and Wednesday. But I was so glad I made it, and my bag made it at 11 o'clock the next day. So they had delivered it to me. I didn't have to go pick it up. So that was nice of Delta. But the bag just couldn't make that connection time, obviously. It didn't have legs to run. So that was my craziness. So I had the MRI, which was more pleasant than I remember. I had an MRI in my head like 10, 12 years ago on my brain because I had I got a concussion from running into another swimmer at a triathlon. And I remember that being a very uncomfortable process to be in the MRI machine and listen to the pounding and all that stuff. But this time for the shoulder, which your head is in the MRI machine for your shoulder, they gave me head earplugs, which was nice. It beeps more than it bumps now. I don't know. I don't know. It just wasn't like I was able to close my eyes and kind of just relax. It wasn't stressful. So, so that wasn't bad. And I was grateful they could do it before work. And it was, 10 minutes in the machine and they have an MRI on my shoulder. So, I worked we'll get back to the shoulder in a minute. I worked a 16-hour day on Tuesday because I get paid for all that travel time. So I could take overtime for it or I could, take off. So I decided, because I didn't have a ton to do, that I would take off. So I took off a few hours yesterday and a few hours today. And a few hours Wednesday, actually. I've taken off a little bit each day. So that kind of adds up to that overtime, just to negate the overtime altogether. I don't get double time pay. I get straight time pay. So if that makes sense to anybody, or like I don't get time and a half for double time or anything like that. I get straight time. So the hours I work at 40 pay at the same rate as the hours over 40 work. With the difference that in Alabama they don't put state tax on overtime. So I actually get a little bit more money for the overtime because I don't have state tax on them. But that's here nor there. So I only worked about 2 hours this morning to finish up something for a project going out. And I got a new project, which is just in my backyard, basically. So that'll be interesting. It's always interesting when I get a project that's not somewhere far away. It's, where I live. And then I went to the shoulder doctor because he had my MRI. So I basically so let me tell you the history first of this shoulder. So my shoulder started hurting in fall of 2024. My shoulder just started hurting. It wasn't an injury. It wasn't like it was, it's not like I had like a acute thing that happened. It was just it's just age, I think, and a little overuse. Overuse and age is what's contributed to this. So I basically went to the doctor. I went to I was stretching at work and it just hurt so bad to pull my shoulder back and do kind of a stretch to open up your chest and I put my hands over my head and it just hurt so bad to do that I was like, I'm going to go to the ortho walk-in and I'm going to see what we can do about this shoulder because it wasn't getting any better. And so I went to the ortho walk-in. They said, do PT, here's some NSAIDs, and, here's a prescription NSAID, and, follow up with the shoulder doctor. So, because they were like, it's probably tendonitis. And so I started PT on my shoulder, and I went to the shoulder doctor, and they were like, yes, it's probably tendonitis, bursitis. You know, we can give you a cortisone shot and, you know, a steroid shot and, you know, the PT, and it may just, you know, maybe I'll cure it and it'll get better. And I said, okay, cool. So I got a cortisone shot and I continued with my PT, and it started feeling better. And then one day I was pulling groceries an awkward way, but I was pulling them up. Like if you put your arm in front of you and you pull and you rise straight up, I was pulling heavy groceries up that way. And it just, my shoulder, like, I don't know, turned over and it hurt so bad. And so I kept PT up for another couple weeks and it got better. And it got better, and my shoulder felt better. I don't know how many weeks I did PT, probably 10, 12. And, you know, it was fine. I was able to work out, but it was weak. That shoulder likes to, like, if I do any kind of lat raises, or I don't know what the different raises you do with your arms are called with weights. But if I did any of those, my shoulder would hike up on that side. I couldn't keep it down. It's my right side. And I couldn't keep it down. And you know, it didn't hurt though. It really didn't hurt. And then it didn't hurt for about, I don't know, on the order of 4 to 5 months. It didn't hurt. It was weak, but it didn't hurt. So, then it started hurting again. And it would get aggravated from my workouts. And it would get aggravated just from, you know, things like putting a coat on, like push-ups, you know, any kind of raise with weights, arm raise with weights. It would hurt when I threw the cat's ball. It would sometimes just ache for no reason. So it was starting to hurt again in the fall of 25. So I was doing some of the PT exercises that they had given me back when I did PT, hoping I could relieve it. And I was taking NSAIDs and, you know, Advil or whatever. And I was like, oh, well, I'm going to have surgery in November. And I'm going to not use it. You know, like I'm going to be still and sedentary for 6 weeks. Maybe it'll just get better. Well, it didn't. It got worse. And it started aching more. And some of that was I was probably using my arms more than I was using my abs, because I couldn't use my abs. So, anyway, so it's been hurting. So I was like, well, you know, I finally decided I'm going to go back to the doctor. See if maybe they can give me another cortisone shot, or, you know, do an MRI, or let's see, you know, what have I done to this shoulder? What's causing this pain? And so that's what I did December 30th, as I went to the shoulder doctor, and they're like, okay, and I might have said this before. I don't think I told you the whole story of this shoulder, but I had an MRI scheduled. They said, well, let's do an MRI because it's been hurting you for, you know, a year now, off and on. Let's do an MRI. So I went to the doctor today to get the results of the MRI, and I have partial tears of 2 of my rotator cuff ligaments. They have long names that I can't pronounce, so so my options now are basically, he said he'd give me another shot, but he can't continue to give me cortisone shots because those actually will degrade the tendon. So he said he can go and do, he can go and we can do surgery and he can scope it and he can kind of clean up the tear and, clean up anything else that's in there. And, that'll probably relieve the pain. So now I'm trying to decide, do I want to have shoulder surgery? So he did say that, and I like this guy. I'd love to get my knees checked out, but I really don't want them scoped. So they probably need it. As you age, doesn't everybody need their joints scoped? Gosh. And he kept saying that. He goes, you are in your 40s, that you have a 40-year-old shoulder. And I'm like, I know. Like, I know. Aging sucks. And I said, but I want to get back to the things I want to do. And, and not have this pain when I, that just gets worse. Like, and I don't want to make the tears worse because I'm using my shoulders because I'm an active person and I like to lift and, I want solid shoulders. And he's like, yeah, then I'd recommend you do the surgery. And I was like, okay, well, let me have the weekend and see if my dad's available to come. So what's nice about this surgery is compared to my other surgery, this one is only 30 minutes long. You do go fully under. It's orthoscopic. They scope with a camera into the shoulder, like they do knees. There's like a hair stuck on the... So he said you can go back to working from home that afternoon if you feel like it. He's like, however long you take pain medicine is when you can't drive, but knowing me from my other surgery that I just had in November, like I didn't need a lot of pain meds. And so, I tolerate pain. That's another thing that we should probably mention is I tolerate pain very, very well. And, so everybody's pain's different. And and my shoulder, for the little bit of pain, I would call my pain with my shoulder today, it's very, very achy. And I would call it like a 4 out of 10. But it's raining outside. And I've taken some NSAIDs and it's just very, very achy. I don't think diamond painting affects it. It doesn't directly seem to affect it, at least. But so I wouldn't have to take a lot of time off work. I've met my deductible for the year, so I would only have to pay 20% of the surgery. I look up what they cost. Because I don't know what it costs, and so I have to see what 20% is. Because I think that's what I'd have to pay, is 20%. But maybe they could set up a payment plan. Or I actually have some care credit. Maybe I could do it on that. Anyway, there's some options for how to pay for it. And, yeah, so, I'm not 100% sure I want the surgery, but then I am, like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I did, but here's the things I don't want to happen is I don't want it to keep annoying me. I don't want it to get worse. And I want to be able to do the things that I can do. And I would be off like weight bearing exercises on that arm, you know, not necessarily on the rest of my body, like the tummy tuck. It would probably just be weight bearing exercises on my arm. They said I'd only need somebody with me for a day. So my dad could come and stay with me for a day. And then yeah, they said I could go right back to work that afternoon. They do it on Tuesday mornings. Like, it's at the surgery center at the hospital. I don't know. I mean, part of me, my dad is not traveling anywhere between February 23rd and, no, between January 23rd and February 23rd. No, and March 23rd or something like that. My dad travels a lot. He's retired. And he's not traveling until March. And he's traveling next week, and then he's not traveling till March. So he has an open couple of Tuesdays. And I have a trip to Jacksonville. Which it's probably better. Well, of course, if that trip moves. I don't know, maybe I'll talk to the PM and see if there's a chance that trip's gonna move. Because obviously I couldn't have surgery that week, but maybe I could do it the week after or 2 weeks before. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I'm leaning towards it. I don't know. I don't know. If you have any thoughts on whether I should have shoulder surgery or not, leave them in the comments below. But it sounds like a lot quick. But it is a full surgery. They do put you all the way under. You have a breathing tube. But it just takes 30 minutes as opposed to the 5-6 hour surgery I went through in November. I can drive as soon as I'm not on pain meds afterwards. It's not as restrictive. It'd be 4 weeks of no weight bearing on that arm. But I have another arm. So I'll go ahead and mess up that shoulder while we're waiting on this shoulder. But he did ask me, do I have any other issues in my other shoulder? And I said, absolutely not. And I don't. That shoulder is strong. That shoulder is yeah, that shoulder's strong. That shoulder's yeah, it never hurts. I mean, it gets sore when I work it out, but so does everything else. And my joints just get sore a little bit because I'm 44. And, that's part of losing hormones is it affects the inflammation in your joints. Not to mention I'm in remission from rheumatoid arthritis. So, there still may be some lingering arthritis in some of my joints. I don't know. I don't feel any of the symptoms from the RA anymore. Like I used to. My hands used to really ache, my wrists used to really ache, and my toes, and my knees would burn, and my elbows would burn, and yeah. So I had different symptoms from the RA that have all gone away. I'm pretty much in remission from that. So I don't think that's the issue. And yeah, I don't know. something to think about this weekend is, do I want to have shoulder surgery? And then something else I'm doing this weekend is tomorrow I have a walk and talk with a friend from Real Roots. Every week we have a girl date, and that's my girl date this week, is a walk and talk. Hopefully it won't be raining. Is a walk and talk with one of the women from that. So hopefully that goes well. And so far it's been fun to have the conversations with all of the women I've had my dates with. And I could be friends with them, but and then Sunday I have Hadestown. So it's the Broadway Theater League. I have a subscription this year, and I go on Sunday matinees. And so Sunday I have Hadestown. I'm very excited to see Hadestown. I'm very excited to be sad I know the story. I'm not very excited to be sad, but I'm ready, prepared to be sad. And I hope they do a good job with it. And yeah. And then, the cats are doing okay. I'm trying to convince Wally that I can't actually throw his ball because it hurts, and I have a torn shoulder, and he doesn't understand human language. So, of that nature. He understands, like, treat, and yeah, that worked. And he understands, I think he understands ball. I think he understands, like, food. I know he understands treat. He understands some words, but not enough to, I've injured my shoulder kind of words. So there are little hairs stuck in the sticky of this. What else? Let's see. What's coming up next week? Next week's pretty simple. A pretty straightforward week. So yeah, so yeah, what was I thinking? Oh, next week. Yeah, I don't have much to next week. I have some work I need to do, and it'll be a normal work week. And it'll be one of the sad things is one of my friends resigned from our office, so that's sad. So sad to see her go, but I mean, she still lives in Huntsville, so we can hang out. So I'll contact her in a bit and see how all that is going. And yeah. So I'll be in the office Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I don't know. I need to figure out what video I'm going to post on Wednesday. I've been thinking maybe a flip through of my Trading Quest cards. I don't know what else. If you have any ideas of videos that you'd like to see me do, let me know. And I will, really get on that. So if you have any ideas, if you have any questions for me, you know, you want me to do a Q&A video, you're gonna have to post questions though, for me to have questions to answer. But you know, kind of a WIP and chat Q&A, I could do something like that. If you have questions for me. What else? You know, I don't know. I don't know what other kind of videos to do. I'll see what other creators are doing. See if I find something else that of other kind of videos I can do. But I know I can do my weekly WIP and chat, and I like doing them. I like chatting your ear off for an hour on Friday afternoons. And but what a crazy week this has been. It has been a very busy, very crazy week. And yeah, so I am still reading Court of Wings and Ruin. I've gotten a little further on it, but I haven't finished it. I still am at 76%. So I have about 5 hours left in it. I don't have much to watch this weekend, so maybe I will listen to my book. I have some other books I want to read, so need to finish this book. And then, yeah, watching, I've just been watching YouTube. That is my main source of watching stuff is YouTube. Sometimes I watch Disney Plus stuff. I never finished the, Marvel movies. Maybe I can watch. I need to watch Deadpool and Wolverine, I think, is the next one that I needed to watch. So, I don't know. I may be in the mood to do that. You have to be in the mood for a Deadpool and movie. It's just a different kind of humor than I kind of gravitate towards all the time. Yeah, I was going to watch all the Percy Jacksons, and I haven't really done that. So, I got some stuff to watch. But mostly I like to watch YouTube. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Did not get finished with this section, but I got about halfway through. I'm a pretty slow diamond painter. I'm probably a little slower when I'm talking. Yeah. So let me know how you are. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good 2026 so far. And have a wonderful weekend, or whatever other time it is when you watch this, you know, week or day or whatever. I'm gonna try to get these lined up. But anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to leave me an emoji that proved you got to the end of the video, leave me a snowman or a snowflake, because we have a very winter scene right here. It is not snowing in Alabama. It is raining, but yeah. So leave me a snowman or a snowflake, and let me know if it's snowing where you are, because it is January and that's when it snows. So bye. I'll talk to you later. Be sure to like and subscribe.